My name is Shayla, and today I'm here to do another tea time with you. It's been a little minute since I've done one of these, and I've been mulling around this topic for a little while, and so I wanted to bring it to you guys and let you guys kind of put your thoughts out there as well. Recently, in both the Booktube and Mangatube sides of my channel, and in content creators, I have noticed a lot of people talking about how they feel pressure, either in making their content, reviewing their content, like reviewing books, reviewing manga, all of those kinds of things, and that they feel pressure about doing it certain ways and things. So I wanted to kind of talk about that today in this video. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. And so let's just go ahead and dive right in. I've been in this space, it'll be 5 years this fall. So I've been in this bookish reviewing space for 4.5 years now. And I've seen lots of ups and downs in my own channel and in how I do things. So I felt like I should get on here and kind of talk about some of those things. So recently, Natalie from over at Book of B, sorry Natalie, I'm going to pick on you a little bit. She left a video, she put up a video just a couple days ago, talking about how she feels pressures to do certain things as a reviewer, like tab up her books, take extensive notes and stuff, to make sure that she gives very thorough reviews. And it was putting a lot of pressure on her to the point where she wasn't enjoying where she was reading. Now, I'm using Natalie as an example, but I have heard this story over and over and over again within this space. So I wanted to talk to you guys about those feelings. I can't say I've never felt those feelings, because I definitely have. I typically don't annotate my books. I started tabbing important things to me last year for a while, but I ended up just not enjoying doing that to my books. I felt like I was getting more out of it when I wasn't. Occasionally, if I know I'm going to be doing a group discussion on something, I'll jot down a few notes. Or if it's something for a publisher, I will generally jot down a few notes unless I can read it basically in one sitting. And even then, sometimes if there's a lot of characters, I do start to take a few little notes, like one little thing on each character, so that when they pop back up, I can refer to my notes if I'm not remembering who they are right off. So when it comes to this, I know there are a lot of people out there who give very detailed and thorough reviews. Mel from over at Mel to the End is a perfect example of giving very detailed reviews. Mel herself got burnt out last year because she got behind on her reviews and she felt pressure. And I love Mel to pieces. She can just write her reviews whenever she wants, in my opinion. But she was starting to feel pressure where she actually took time off from her channel for a while. And that's what most people end up doing when they reach this state, is they take a break from their channel because they feel like they're not enjoying it. They need to recenter and find their love for it again. And 9 times out of 10, they come back. Sometimes people don't ever come back after they feel that. In the manga reviewing space, there are different kinds of pressures. Sorry, I'm going to set that down here for a second. In the manga reviewing space, I have noticed that people feel a lot of pressure to either be reading a lot, or to be reading certain series, or to make certain kinds of content. Typically within the manga space, most of what we see are collection videos, haul videos, and the occasional review. That's most of what we see. But to me, that feels kind of unsatisfying sometimes. Maybe it's because I was in that booktube space for a long time before I entered that mangatube space, but I wanted to see more. I want to hear people's thoughts as they're reading through it, not just once they, finish it, they give all their thoughts. And that's fine. On a short series, that's perfect. I don't have any issues with that. But on long-running series, I want to see you go through the journey. And I want to know your thoughts as you go along, as you read a volume or 2 at a time, rather than once you read 10 to 12 volumes or 5 or 6 if that's an arc of a story. I want to know your thoughts in the middle of it, not just at the end. And I think that's why I do more reaction vlogs when I'm reading a manga series. I did that for Blackbird. I did that for Sailor Moon. I've done that for Fruits Basket. I've done that for several bigger series where I kind of film a reaction vlog as I'm reading it. And I also do more reading vlogs with my manga, like the Manga Love Readathon that I just did. I had so much content because I was reading so much that I had daily vlogs for that. That's the kind of stuff I want to see more of, because it's less pressure, it's more casual, and it's more organic. And I think that's what I want to see more of in the space, is just those organic things. That tends to be what I'm drawn to. But in some ways, that's a lot of pressure on somebody, because I basically had a camera in my face for 3 days straight. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't feel confident in how they look, or they feel like they're comparing themselves to other creators. And that's something that happens a lot with any YouTube space, is you're going to compare yourself to other creators. I just want to put it out there that every creator is going to be unique. No one should be doing the exact same thing as somebody else. You want to bring your own thing to the platform. So don't ever feel pressure to do what everybody else is doing. Everybody's going to kind of find their niche and their happy place within any sort of YouTube space. A great example of this is Neon Plus Nova. They do a little bit of anime content, a little bit of manga content, and mostly they're like film and video stuff, which is super impressive. If you guys are not checking out their channel, anybody I mention in this video will be linked down below. And if I mention a specific video, that video will be linked as their link. But yeah, like, I really love seeing people doing things differently within the community. I'm going to point out Mel again, because she's somebody I've followed for a long time before she even created a channel. She's one of the top reviewers on Goodreads. And I know she checks her privilege. She gets sent a lot of books for review for free. And us within the community, when we love something, we love to send it to her and just like give her a chance to read it and enjoy it, because it's something we've enjoyed and we think that she will. So she checks her privilege very often. She's very sweet, a very humble human, and really does a good job on the platform that she has. She shares her knowledge of Goodreads and things like that if you want to be a stronger reviewer and things like that. So definitely check out her channel. She's one of my favorite humans. I've said that like several times. But another person who does things differently in the manga space would be Aisha over at Mama Loves Manga. She, rather than doing dedicated single reviews, what she'll do, she uses IGTV a lot as her main like review platform, actually. So what she does is she compilates a bunch of her IGTV reviews, which are her organic thoughts after she finishes reviews, and puts those in a video and uploads that, so that you're getting several things in the review. And she does timestamps down below, so you can just jump to the reviews you want if you don't want to listen to all of them. And that's something that not many people in the community are doing. Another person I'm going to point out is Dylan over at Dynamic Dylan. His videos much more center on like BL and LGBT related manga. And there aren't many people in the community who do that as much as he does, at least that I've found. I know I'm not all knowing and I don't see every creator, but it's one of those things that I've noticed on Dylan's channel. Dylan is, you know, not heterosexual. I will let Dylan tell his story to you. That is not my place. But Dylan is unashamedly himself, and he is so himself in his videos. I don't care if his quality could be completely down the toilet, and I wouldn't care. I watch Dylan for Dylan. And I think that's the thing people forget. A lot of people get caught up in the pressures of making the highest quality content. But I'm not usually there for the quality, I'm there for the person. Quality is always nice, and I'm more prone to watch the entire video if the quality is nice, and if the editing is nice, and all of those kinds of things. I'm not going to discount that, because that is important in a visual space. But at the same time, if you have perfect quality but zero personality, I'm not going to stick around on your channel. I would rather go watch somebody who's filming on the crappiest phone in existence, who's exuding a ton of personality, because that's more entertaining. Even though sometimes I would just put it on the background and listen rather than actually visually watch it. So if you want people to visually watch you, make sure your quality is high and all those kinds of things. But again, those are more pressures that we all feel within the space. This is going to be totally a ramble, and I'm just going to ramble all my thoughts off, but we'll edit it together somehow. But that's how this is going to go today. Another pressure I hear a lot of people talk about is hauls and owning a big collection. Now, I love to collect. I've been working a long time on curating my own home library. It's something I've always wanted. Thankfully, I have a very supportive spouse who is willing to do this with me. Now, I'm kind of reaching capacity on what my collection can hold. So I'm getting a lot stingier about what I buy. So it's one of those things where you have to draw the line where your collection is enough. For some people, that's one shelf. For some people like me, that's half a room. And for other people, it's an entire room and a closet and all sorts of other things. Like, your collection is your collection. Don't let anybody within this space tell you your collection has to be different than what it is. It could be one single shelf, and that's your collection because those are your all-time favorites. And I would still love and respect you because I know exactly what your favorites are now. So essentially what I'm trying to get at with this video is that every creator is unique and different, and no one should be like anybody else. If that's the case, then man, that content's going to be really boring to watch. And also, don't be afraid to try something new on your channel. If you want to start doing bullet journal videos, if you want to start doing video game reviews on your channel, whatever that is, don't be afraid to put it out there. It might not get as many views initially, but over time, as people see that this is going to become a normal for your channel, there's a good chance they'll stick around and give it a try. I know that there are some people, like, I'm going to use an example. This is a bigger booktuber, but this is Books and Lala, Kayla from over at Books and Lala. I do not read hardly anything the same as Kayla. But man, do I love watching her content. Like, she does some really creative and innovative things. She's backed off on some of that, which is fine. Like, the woman needs to live her life and give her brain a break. But she's done things like, she took like a 23andMe test and read books from the countries that she has origins in and things like that. Like, she's just done really super creative things within the space. And I think there's a lot more room, especially within manga, where we could do that. I know some of the creators are starting to dip more into little fun skits, and that's great. That's not something I'm personally good at. But one thing I would love to start seeing more of that's simple content to make, and I think that's the thing when you're feeling that burnout on reviews and hauls and stuff, is to find other things to make content with. It's been a long while since many people have done like recommendation lists of specific things. Like, I know I did a shoujo for guys. I really wish I could go back and change that title, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I would have made it shoujo recommendations for shonen readers, honestly. I have a part 2 to that, being shonen manga that shoujo readers might like. I mean, most people who read shoujo are also reading things like shonen and seinen and stuff, but some don't. And so I really wanted to do this video because there are some shonen that get mistaken for shoujo a lot. And this might be a gateway for somebody to be like, oh, well, I liked this series. If they're recommending it to shoujo readers, maybe I could try some shoujo. Recently, I've been getting asked for more shoujo recommendations and things, and so I'm not afraid to ever give them, but I will link that video if you're interested in some shoujo recommendations for somebody who enjoys shonen kinds of things. And, you know, obviously I'm going to do the opposite, but it's one of those things that you can do things like that. You can do specific demographic recommendations. You can do, like, my thoughts on the top 10 manga on my anime list or something. Like, you can do all sorts of really fun and creative things. I put that in there for you based. But there's lots of content that's available and out there. And if you want easy, more casual reviews, you can do things more wrap-up style, but in a casual way. You don't have to get super detailed if you don't want to. I mean, my wrap-ups are long because I read a decent amount, but I don't give tons of details on much of it at all. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just write a few brief notes on the back of the book on a big, like, post-it note, and that's what I reference as I'm doing my wrap-ups. So that, you know, I get, like, the key players' names on there, and then, you know, just general thoughts. Or, you know, like a brief 1 or 2 lines about the book. So you can make wrap-ups as simple or as detailed as you want. It's just a matter of, I like to let people know what I've read, and my my general thoughts on them because I do read so much. And some people are like, oh, you read this. I want to know what your thoughts are. Like, there are people out there reading some of my favorite series, and I want to know what they think about it. It's just one of those things that's a personal thing. I'm all over the place with this video. Another thing I want to bring up before I wrap up this video is that there are lots of people who are blessed to work with publishers. This is part of what I was starting to talk about with mentioning Mel, but don't feel like if a publisher's not reaching out to you that you're doing something wrong. Sometimes publishers have strict rules on like how many subscribers you have to have before they'll work with you or things like that. So don't ever feel like you're doing something wrong if they're not reaching out to you or if your subscriber count is low, because you're still out there talking about things that you love. And also don't be afraid to utilize the library if, you know, money's tight or you aren't sure you want to buy it. So don't ever be afraid to do what's best for you. I don't want people going into debt for their content. That's stupid. That's like one of the stupidest things you could ever do. Last year, I paid cash for everything that I bought in my collection because I was blessed enough that I could do that. So don't, like, set yourself a budget. And if it's only one book and one volume of manga a month or less than, like, don't be afraid to do that. Just don't film a haul every time. And don't ever feel pressured to haul things. That's something that's easy when you get into the space to fall into, is you just end up buying everything everybody's talking about. And half the stuff you buy, you probably won't keep. I know that was the case with me. Half the stuff that I bought, I haven't kept. Because once I read it, I'm like, this is garbage. I don't want it in my collection anymore. And there's things on these shelves that I'll probably over time end up unhauling as well. But yes. So, all right. I'm going to get off my soapbox and end tea time here for today. Thank you guys for checking out this video. Shout out down below, like, to anybody who I mentioned in this video. And jump into the comments, start a conversation with me. Talk about the pressures that you feel as a reviewer. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, make sure you give it a like. If you're new, welcome. I would love it if you would subscribe and click the little bell so you know when I post new videos. It's YouTube. You guys know what to do. I will talk to you in the next one.